because leadership is not sitting on the top seat.
I never thought I'd be a teacher. Who's a good teacher may not be a good leader.
Yeah.
So, what you have in your basket, what are you making out of it, is going to define your institution. My go to productivity hack is music. My favorite singer, even today, would be Lata Mangeshkar.
If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would that be? Hi, guys. For the very first time, Extramarks is coming up with a podcast on education. The purpose of this podcast is to actually explore those wonderful educators whom we have been in awe of and fear of all through our growing years, and who's the person behind that absolutely immaculate, awe-inspiring personalities that walk the school corridors. The first on the list of such an icon is Mrs. Amrita Burman, Deputy Director, Sunbeam School. It is not just a smile, but her insight and the foresight that is driving her institution and inspiring the education industry. We love her for her experimentation and her implementation of new ideas. So let's walk into the room and meet dynamic Amrita Burman and light the day. Hi, Amrita. Thank you
Hi,
for making
Poonam.
time.
We've been talking about this for some time. Let's make it. And I'm so happy that I could finally make it. And I'm really glad to be here. Thank you so much for this invitation.
Whether you are a deputy director or you are a principal, end of the day, heart of it is that you are a teacher.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
I would like to know that how did your journey begin? Which school did you go to?
Right.
Who was your favorite teacher? And when did you think of becoming a teacher?
So I think I'm going to, when I talk about myself, it's going to be something that's specially, and I think this happens a lot in the education world, where people don't really come into this profession by choice, but by chance. And I'm one of them too. So I never thought I'd be a teacher. So I belong to Calcutta. I've had my education in the modern high school in Kolkata. And when I came, and I always wanted to be a lawyer, by the way, couldn't for certain reasons or whatever. So I got married and came to Varanasi, and I had never taught even when I was in Calcutta. So I didn't have a professional degree, never thought I'd, be into education. But I had done my MBA, and I was always very interested in academics. So it was like administration and academics, which was really my forte, basically. So when I came to Varanasi, got married and came to Varanasi, it was like I have to work, I have to do something, I have to keep myself occupied. That's when this job, okay, and it was the job of a teacher at that stage. I was teaching French, and I was a class teacher of class 3. That's how I started my journey, and it was at Sunbeam. So that's been my first job, and even now I've been with the school for over
Wow.
32 years now. So that's how I started. I picked up my professional degree later, and I moved pretty much quickly up the ladder, if you'd like to
Yeah.
say. From a teacher, I did become an academic head, and then principal, and then director. I think in a very short span of, say, 8 years, 7 to 8 years, my journey was as short as that when it came to being the director of the
Do you
school.
think, Amrita, the very fact that you came from a different profession
Yes.
or different aspiration,
Yes.
you added fresh dimensions to the
Yes.
role itself?
Absolutely. I think so. And I was just going to mention that maybe my degree in MBA really helped me when I took up the job of an edu administrator. Because as I said, I would love to read, research, reflect on what I'm doing as an academician. But at the same time, how to do it, how to handle the school, operations, taking decisions, prioritizing, things that we talk about in
Yeah.
leaders,
Yeah.
came to me much, much earlier and far more easily because I had studied and actually practice that. So I think this marriage of academics and administration just fell in place. And then I fell in love with the profession because it's lovely working with
Yeah.
children.
That's what there are 2 points that has come out of this. It's an interesting thing because my journey also has been interestingly opposite of what you just said.
Okay.
But the first idea is that we should revisit B.Ed or teachers training.
Yes.
And we should introduce leadership as a subject
Absolutely,
there.
absolutely.
Because leadership is not sitting on the top seat.
Not
It
at
is
all.
in everyday life how you take leadership, you think of alternate ways of achieving your goals. And that, if we introduce in our B.Ed class,
Absolutely.
then it might just change the quality of manpower we
Actually,
produce.
I think there is, and there's been a lot of discussion also. I'm made to believe at different levels in the ministry that we need to have a completely different course for leaders in education. So
Yeah.
we are preparing people for the corporate world, and we are giving them all those little masalas and fundas on how you need to be a better leader.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
don't know why we're not doing it, because everyone who's a good teacher may not be a good leader.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
actually, you lose out on both. You don't
Yeah.
have a good leader and you don't have a good teacher back in the classroom again.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah.
that's not a fair deal at all. It's
Yeah.
a great idea
Mhm.
that you are an instructional leader, and for that it's great to be a teacher.
Yeah,
You should
yeah.
have been a teacher at
Yeah,
some stage.
yeah.
So because I taught for a few years, I know where the shoe pinches.
Absolutely.
Yet I know how to administer, I think.
My next question is that in school, what interested you? Was it reading, extracurricular, sports? What is it that?
So in my school, I was inclined towards academics, but no, I think there was, even then, many years back in Calcutta, there was holistic development that was always emphasized on. So we used to play. I was, in fact, a district level badminton player. So it started from school, and then I moved on till quite a few years.
Do you still play?
I don't play now. I left about 10 years back because of some knee issues, but I still love playing. I mean, I played for quite a few years. I played badminton. Even other things like quizzing, debating. I was good at debating.
I'm
I
sure.
always was interested in debating. So it's all about, the extra things that you could do to yourself. So holistic development was always something I believed in, even when I was in school. And my school gave me a lot of opportunities to do that. And, there was a time when I always felt that if the school, again, going back to the example of my own institution, that if the school has the opportunities laid out in front of children and that little gentle push for every child to make the most out of the opportunities, children can go really skyrocketing. Why am I particularly telling you that? Because I remember in amongst the schools that we are having in our at Sunbeam, some are comparatively smaller. They're middle schools, two of them, and the rest are larger. And even in that, the sizes differ. So the smaller schools always come and say, "Oh, wish I had some more space. I wish I had some more." So my school is so small, and I always tell them, I said, it's what you have and what you make out of it.
Yeah.
Someone else could be having 100 acres of land, but go and ask the child, has he ever gone to the playground? There's a possibility that they have
Yeah.
it, but the children don't go. So what you have in your basket, what are you making out of it, is going to define your institution.
Absolutely.
So again, it's your
Your-
will, it's your grit, it's your push. So be
Absolutely.
proud of what you have and what you make. And I think that that's made a difference, because today I can really very proudly say that all my leaders, my principals, the heads of the schools, they get the best out of what they have. They
Yeah.
value what they have.
Yeah.
They want to give to every child what they have. I think that's important.
Sometimes we do what we are told. Most times we do what we see.
Yes.
Right. So I'm sure you are in yourself an example, and your team wants to follow you through. And but as a child, who was your favorite teacher, and why was she your favorite,
So
or
I
he?
my favorite teacher was my class 7 class teacher, Miss Clara.
Mhm.
And I remember that I was, there was a little bit of a difficult patch that I was going through in my life at that stage. Nothing major, but then it's just that it impacts you a lot
Mm.
as a child, and you're kind of singled out in a class, and there are some children standing up against you and stuff. So I think she noticed that there was a change in behavior. She noticed that this child is kind of shutting up and blocking herself away, and she took me aside and conversed. It took me some time to open up, but she got it out of me. What was the problem? uh, Held my hand, not so much physically, but emotionally, took me out of that, and had to even speak to the whole class about the acceptance, back to the acceptance factor, whatever the issues were. That, I think it's not like that, whatever. So there was a negotiation that she did for me with the whole class. And I can never ever forget that. And probably that was a change point in my life, and I remember that till date, because it's been at the back of my mind that if a teacher really wants, she can make that change. And for that, are you being able to flag the children in your class? Are you being able to see the change in behavior,
Behavior.
and then hand holding children out of difficult situations? So it's always been at the back of my mind that no, the children in my school shouldn't suffer on this in this
So
front
it's
at all.
so interesting. As I was listening to you, there's one is to spot.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
90% of teachers, interested teachers, I would
Yeah.
say, would spot,
Yeah.
but they will not address. They might try to distract them or entertain them, but they will not address. So identifying, addressing. But the best part why you remember her is not that, the fact that she stood for you and negotiated.
Right.
Don't you think you have to change how a concept is taught in a class, and then decide what technology can bring that there?
Right. So, for me, when I talk about technology, and I was just thinking while you were, speaking, is um, technology has to be an integration for all stakeholders.
Yes.
Okay. Because if you leave any one of the stakeholders out, it's not going to work.
Absolutely.
So, the biggest challenge today for us has been parents more than anything else.
Absolutely.
Okay. But again, it's like what we started discussing in the beginning. It's about the gut, the foresight, the insight, everything that you were talking about, right? Uh, After post pandemic, let me give you an example of the struggle that's happening today, but we're still better.
Yeah.
Because we've been pushing. So post pandemic, I told my team, we're going to continue with online classes. Everybody was up in arms, including my teachers, because everybody thought, God, done it, invested, whatever, time, effort,
Absolutely.
money, done. We're back to, the offline classes. And I mean, obviously, the offline classes work the best. But I also understand that there were certain things that were damn good in the online class. The child who was hiding behind the screen was still talking. The child in a classroom, the same child, wasn't speaking at all. Or there were certain tools where I could use my AI methods, and I could get my assessments and my data just there,
Just
and you
there,
knew, and you
yeah.
could work on it, and it's really helped you. And there were many, many other benefits of technology being used for the child. Parents seeing the way the teacher was teaching, parent not only falling in love but respecting the teacher,
Respecting,
and realizing,
yeah.
oh God, I don't know how this teacher is managing.
Yeah.
Their love, their respect for the teachers went up,
Absolutely.
manifold. So the point is, and then again for the teacher, time was being saved. She understood what's happening. She could, kind of tweak her lessons because she understood that ye wala concept to abhi theek nahi hua. I need to go back. I need to
Yeah.
retweak my teaching. So all the three stakeholders were benefiting. So I told my team, I said, no, I am continuing. We will do it once in a week. We'll do it whatever. That has evolved over time.
Yeah.
But we'll continue because if I throw the baby out with the bathwater,
Yeah.
everyone from the teacher to the child to the parent is going to stop investing again the time, effort, and money.
Yeah.
And all that has
All
been
the
learned is going to go
learning,
down.
yeah. And it did,
And it did. So,
Amrita.
what happens today in
yeah.
the school, if there's a new recruit, she's obviously trained and oriented in the offline methods. She's equally trained and oriented in the online methods.
Fantastic. This lovely session is coming to an end. And this is a rapid fire questions that we have for you.
Okay.
One movie that you would like to recommend?
So, my one movie that I would like to recommend is To Serve with Love. I think
Okay.
it's an evergreen.
Most memorable experience while working?
My most memorable experience is about a child who was troublesome and nobody could understand what are the other things the child was good at because he was very naughty, academically not good. I had a conversation with the child, made the child, I could understand that the child was very good at tabla, put him through that. Today he's a professional tabla player and we still
Fantastic.
are in connect with each other.
One staff room gossip you want to share?
The staff room gossip is all about, used to be actually so many years back, I sat in the staff room. Even then, it was all about this child and that child, something I never ever liked. And that's the change I brought about, that can we have more powerful, good conversations in the staff room? I think
Okay.
teachers talk a lot about kids and not always in the right light.
Right.
And I'm not happy about it.
Best piece of advice you have received?
The best piece of advice that I have received has been never say a no. And I don't.
Okay,
Never say a no.
wonderful. What's your go-to productivity hack? I think
My go-to productivity hack is music.
wow.
I love my me time. I walk every evening and I listen to music and I hate any disturbance at that time. And for me, that's my creative best.
What is your favorite music?
My favorite music is semi-classical Indian music. I just love, and most of it is a lot from Bollywood, but I'm very particular about the semi-classical part of Bollywood music.
So
and I
who is
love
your
it.
favorite singer?
My favorite singer even today would be Lata Mangeshkar.
Mm-hmm. I thought Rekha Bharadwaj after
Rekha Bharadwaj is also one of my very favorite ones. Kiran Seth is another very favorite singer of mine. So I
Okay.
have quite a few, but I still like
semi-classical.
semi-classical of Lata Mangeshkar, of Asha Bhosle. I think that genre, that time of music is evergreen for me. I just love
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would that be and why?
Positively, it would be Mahatma Gandhi. Someone I actually, during my teenage years, read about him and I felt, oh, I don't. But I think I matured in my thoughts for him. And I said, oh God, can there be somebody like him who stood up against anything, everything, and just followed his own path? So for me, it's always hands down Mahatma Gandhi.
What's your favorite subject?
My favorite subject is political science. That's what I actually even mastered in. So that's my favorite subject.
Who is and was your favorite teacher?
Miss Clara.
Yeah.
I told you.
Advice to all the fellow educators?
Keep learning, keep collaborating. And for me, the best learner has been visiting school campuses and soaking everything in, coming back, filtering, and then implementing.
I like the implementing part of yours. And if you were not a teacher, what would you be?
Positively a lawyer.
Okay, good. So, Amrita, always a pleasure to meet you and
Same
have
here,
a chat.
pleasure
with
being
you.
here.
So, I had, I wanted a closing remark and how was the experience being with us? Also, that how do you see the education environment change in the next 5 years?
So I think that post-pandemic, the education scene has changed tremendously and is changing in a very, very fast pace. Technology being one of the huge enablers, and I think also the buzzword around. Everybody is into how much should I take and what should I take. So there's going to be a rapid change. Another important thing I feel is the NEP coming up this time with the NCFs coming up, both SE and FS, because again I'm going to link it with technology. There have been NCFs and NEPs earlier. Nobody ever spoke about them because technology wasn't there for so many webinars and so many sessions to happen. Today, because of technology, there's so much spoken about that every layman, every parent is asking, बताइए NEP में ये है, क्या ये होगा? So stakeholders being a part of this change, I think is the most beautiful thing, because for me, parents are the most important stakeholders in this whole transaction of education. So I see a lot of rapid change. The only fear is, I hope it's in the right direction, that all owners, managers, trustees, etc., along with the other leaders, I just don't want to tell them because some of them have the intent to invest money, but are the principals and other leaders really supporting their trustees in seeing to it that the money is spent in the right way? And the last and the most important thing with that is teacher training. It has to be taken from here. I don't know, probably here. If you don't invest in your teachers in the right way, education is never going to happen. In as much of technology you may bring in, it's not going to happen, because I do stand by it even today with me being sold out to technology. One teacher and maybe just one student or a group of students, and magic can happen.
Absolutely.
So the teacher is the key change maker and the catalyst. We have to invest in our teachers.
Even in the transition into technology, she's the fulcrum of it.
Absolutely.
Because
another thing, what is an offset, adage is that if you have a teacher, technology may be able to replace that teacher, but a technologically advanced teacher is not going to be able to get replaced. So I think for every teacher to be a buyout on technology, we as leaders investing in them, prompting them, helping all teachers. And why I'm insisting on that, I may have a teacher in my staff room who is 58 today, 2 more years to retire, but she has 2 more precious years to give to the children. And she is not a buyout to technology.
Absolutely.
So are we hand-holding that teacher also in getting trained in technology and making that difference?
Absolutely.
So at all levels.
So because we are basing the conversation on AI and its future, I want to pick the tail of what you just said. 2 years of that teacher is precious to your children in your school.
Yes.
But AI will allow the teacher's input to go to 1 billion.
Absolutely.
So capturing of the best practices in learning, can be shared by not just 10,000 students in your school, can go beyond.
Much beyond.
This is the power of technology.
And we are then enabling a teacher, even post-retirement, she is a benefit to the whole society.
Absolutely.
Because she's going to give in some way she's going to contribute. So, I mean, just cutting a very long story short, teacher is the catalyst. Invest in her to make a change.
Absolutely.
Simple.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And it's been an absolute pleasure being here, Poonam. Your complete team, they've been so good. And I think you raised the conversation bar high. Every question you pushed me to think. So it's been a pleasure being here.
Thank you so
much for this invitation. Just loved it.
I'm sure you enjoyed our conversation with Amrita Burman, such a beautiful personality. And I'm sure today she inspired you to choose a career of teaching. And if you are the best in your field, you should walk into the schools and teach India. Don't forget to watch the next episode of Beyond Classroom by Extramarks.
We really have to sign
Thank you, cut kar de. Okay.
Just in case you need anything.
Yeah. हाँ, पता नहीं क्यों वर्ड डाल रही हूँ, क्योंकि टेक्नोलॉजी भी डालना था हाँ